Hello and welcome to Bitcoin Smart Money, a show about Bitcoin and the US markets. So I wanted to dive into things real quick this morning because when I woke up, Bitcoin had broken through two different price points, one of them being the 1261 resistance. And when it was able to do that, I saw that 1281 was a real nice next stop for Bitcoin to sit at. Right now we hit 1272, it looks like on Bitstamp. I've got Bitstamp pulled up because you can see it in a little bit different time frame. The price that I do trade though is on the Coinbase exchange, but I'm looking at the chart here because it's a little bit more fluid. Coinbase has had some fat finger trades, I believe, to where the chart gets a little garbled on certain time frames. So let's look at it from this point of view. One of the things that we see here is back in October of 2016 we had kind of like a squeeze is what they call it. So we had higher lows, but it was really making a contraction type of phase. So when we had that in October, I mean, we have had just such a tremendous move since then, since the 640s. We had the top here over the past few months. It happened in March, and we've had really good support. But the thing is we have to be concerned about a little bit here. On this price move up, we've had shrinkage of demand. So we've had less buyers step in as prices have moved forward. So that's something that's going to be, we need to really be concerned with here as we approach the all-time highs and going into the 1350s. Okay, so I have the Coinbase chart pulled up here, and you can see what I have here with this channel that's being built. It really has only been tested a few times, and it's consistently trending upwards in that channel, which is really bullish sign. So you can see here the next support line at 1281 I have as being the next floor that we're going to experience. It could even come through as soon as this video is happening, because once we hit that, we've only got really one more price point to start taking out. The only concerning thing I have to say is you can see down here we do have shrinkage of demand. So as price moves up, demand shrinking, it's going to tell us two things. We either need to be very prudent in taking profits, because we can have a step down, and I'm talking a leg down in Bitcoin, to where that price goes down into the low thousands. A 250 point drop could happen with profits being taken at these all-time high prices. So we're going to either have that drop into the low 1000s, or we're going to have a real expansion into the 13 and 1400s. So back to this, we have price and volume contraction nearing an all-time high. So when we hit this 1300 price point, we're going to see profit taking. And with that taking place, we have the 50 and the 200 period moving averages, creeping upwards, which develops and builds a new floorboard for price to sit through, as a support level. So with demand being the only concern, we have to just know that we're either going to explode out, or we're going to take some profit taking here down into the 1000s, 1050 range. So I think that's the only thing to be concerned with. I'd have a position where you have some cash available and some coins available, like we talked last time. The goal is to grow that diversification, because if you get caught on one side of that move, it hurts. And to do that early on in the trading experience, it gives a lot of new Bitcoiners a sour taste in their mouth, because they expect to just have this constant growth upwards. But you have to know with things taking an escalator up, they take the elevator down, and that's what happens with Bitcoin over time. So it's just something that we do want to be clearly aware of happening, and that there is a chance for losing of profits, because realized gains are never gains until you have them in your exchange and then your wallet. So let's get into the SPYs. So here are the SPYs. This is the weekly, and this chart tracks the S&P 500. So it's a group of 500 stocks that are conglomerated into an ETF. So with the election taking place in November, our original buy on the daily chart came in around the 213. We'll get into the daily next, but let's just take a look at this weekly time frame and show you how bullish we've really been. This is from 2011. You can see my pointer. It has just been an awesome move up for the SPYs since 2011. We've got the 240 being the resistance at the top. It's a price point that we have to be clearly aware of. And the reason why it's so important is that we've been in a trading range for almost 18 months. And when it broke out, we had a minor breakout to the upside, followed by a decline into the election. So since the election, we're up almost 13%. But as we've been up 13%, we've had a lack of demand, similar to what we've seen in Bitcoin. But we have 240 being the top and the all-time high. With that good price action, we're seeing a little bit of a contraction in demand. So when we have that, we have to understand, let's take a little snapshot. And since mid-February to this now last week of April, we've just been in a sideways market. But what's the perception? We had what's been going on with the European Union and France, and the stock market's been crushing. It's up 2-3% here in just a couple days. But so we have to understand that over the short term, the perception is everything's bull, 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 bull. We're great. Well, let's take a look back and let's put this in a 10-week time frame and understand we haven't made any new highs. We're in the top of the range, and we just have to be careful because we do see some volume and demand for these new prices shrinking a little bit. So we have to just take that same approach that we could also take the escalator up, elevator down. So that's really all I wanted to say in regards to the SPYs and the Bitcoin market, because they're kind of similar in where they're approaching their growths and some of the highs. So I think that we just need to be aware that we're approaching the summer doldrums. We can be in the 220, the 225 range here on the SPYs. The last thing I wanted to talk about that has some relation to the SPYs is the VIX. The VIX tells us the perception of fear in the market, and right now we're at an all-time low almost in the VIX. So we've got the SPYs going up, we've got summer approaching, we've got the VIX nearing an all-time low, we've got demand shrinking somewhat. So we're in a real interesting time. Let's see how the next week shakes out. We'll get to find things, what's going on with show number 3. I'll get you updated. We'll kind of see if we can find some new trades. I'm going to try and find 1 or 2 US equities we can look at for daily trades, which could last us anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. So I'll be looking at that. You let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate your time.